And now we keep on talking about science and chemistry with this woman. Maybe somebody of you know her. She is 84. Her name is Youyou. She's Chinese. And she has won the Nobel Prize for Medicine in 2015 for the discovery of artemisinin, natural active principle, which is efficacious against malaria. Thanks to her discovery, millions of lives have been saved, mostly in developing countries. And so, but this discovery and her studies date back actually to the 60s. So what happens? Why does the Nobel Prize arrives actually 40 years later than her studies? Well, actually here the story starts. In the 60s, you know, in China, there was the Cultural Revolutions. In this political climate, intellectuals and scientists were denigrated as one of 9 black categories. So scientific publications were banned. But you have to know that China had one big problem at that time. There was the war between South and North Vietnam. And North Vietnam was one of the few political allies of China. But soldiers were dying because of malaria, because the remedy that was used at that time, chloroquine, was losing its efficacy. And so what happened? Mao Zedong organized Project 523, which was a secret military program to support the study of new drugs to fight malaria. It was really a confidential program involving hundreds of scientists who tried over 240,000 synthetic compounds. But the problem was that not even one worked. And so what Mao Zedong thought was to turn to the Academy of Traditional Medicine in Beijing. And here is where the woman we have seen in the first slide comes into action, because Youyou was entrusted to be the chief of the project. Of course, it was a very demanding task, professionally, but also personally, because her husband was an intellectual and he had been sent to hard labor in the countries. They also had a 4-year-old daughter, but Youyou was sent to Hanoi to study the effects of malaria. And so her daughter had to be sent to a nursery. And when she came back, her daughter didn't even recognize her because she was away for a long time. But she knew that her mission was very, very important. She studied over 2,000 recipes of traditional medicine. And she created thousands of compounds, and she tested them. And finally, in a book dating back 340 after Christ, can you imagine? She founded this prescription of Artemisia annua. She saw that it would work, but not 100% when boiling in water. And so she tried another strategy. She used a low ether temperature method, which allowed her to really make it work 100%. She first tested it on mice and monkeys, and then she had to prove that it had no side effects. And so she tested it on herself, because she was the head of the project. After that, the preparation was proved and tested on malaria-infected workers, and it proved to work. After 30 hours, the fever would decrease, and the parasites would disappear from blood. The results of this discovery were published, but in an anonymous form. Her name was hidden between the names of many other people. Why? Because she was the professor of the three no's. Not three noses, three no's. She had no postgraduate degree. She had never been abroad. She had not studied abroad. And she was not part of any prestigious Chinese National Academy. But luckily, times changes, and little by little, she started to emerge, herself and her team. And so she got really important recognitions in the end, like the Nobel Prize and also the prestigious American Lasker Prize.